room. All right. Okay, if the board members could all make sure you have your microphones on, we're going to get started in just a moment. Good evening. The hour being 6:30 p.m. on Monday, March 27th, 2023. I'd like to call to order the Brookfield Village Board meeting. Would everyone please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Bridget, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee LeClere?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
President Garvey?
Here.
And Trustee Hendricks is
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to allow Trustee Brian Conroy to appear by Zoom due to him being out of the country for work purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Trustee Cote, second by Trustee Kaluzny. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy? Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Okay, so that's approved, so Trustee Conroy can now join us by Zoom from out of the country.
I am here, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Conroy. Thanks for being with us tonight. If at any point you can't hear or give some kind of sign to staff, or you could text staff or text me if we lose you for some reason.
Okay, will do, thank you.
Thank you. We have no appointments or presentations tonight, so at this point in the meeting, I will open it up to public comment. Is there anybody down the middle that has any public comment at this point? Our room is not set up typically because early voting, everyone's moved to the center, so if you're watching on TV, that's the reason I said that. Seeing no public comment at this point, we'll move on to reports of special committees, please. Trustee Cote.
I would like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated 27 March 2023 in the amount of $935,568.96.
Second. The motion was made by Trustee Cote, second by Trustee LeClere. Trustee Cote, any highlights or anything you want to point out?
Not on this one.
Any questions or comments from the board related to the warrant? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy?
Aye,
Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Report of DPW, the Forestry Division has completed the tree removal program. They removed over 100 trees with the intention of planting 100 trees. Therefore, it's a tree for tree swap. The forestry will also begin moving into the stump removal program next and restoring the parkway with black dirt and seed. The Streets Division is finishing up replacing street name signs, stop signs, parking regulation signs in Section 7, which borders 31st Street to Washington and Maple to Prairie. This is part of the sign replacement program for 2023, and they are still continuing alley grading via C-Click Fix. DPW repaired a main break this week at 2629 Maple. The staff continues to mark jewelry requests and have increased this month with the construction season fast approaching. In regards to the library meeting is this Wednesday. Don't forget to submit your idea to name the book bike. The deadline is this Friday, so visit the library's website to share your ideas, or you can fill out a form inside the library for the name. I would like to bring attention for the opening of the Loft at 8 Corners. The Loft program is designed to engage teens in their mental health journey, to encourage teen voices and empower and advocate for their own services and family support. All services there are for free. If you're having difficulties putting food on your table, Brookfield does have 2 food pantries in town. Tomorrow night, the Share Food, Share Love Pantry will be open from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., so please visit. And if you have time, please volunteer. I'd like to remind everybody that the Forest Park Vet Center has left literature for our veterans outside here in the lobby. We are estimated losing 22 vets a day to suicide. Over 60% of those are over the age of 50. The VA has a national coaching into care program where they have licensed psychologists and social workers willing to talk to you by phone free of charge, and they can also help you find your way around the VA system. To speak with a VA coach, call 888-823-7458. If you know a homeless vet or a vet on the verge of becoming homeless, they can call, or you can call for them, 877-424-3838. That is the VA hotline for homeless vet assistance. The Veteran Assistance Commission of Cook County, or the VACC, offers help for veterans if you are having problems paying your rent, your mortgage, electricity, and/or gas bills. They are open 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. You can find them on the Cook County website, choose Veteran Affairs, and you can get all of your details there. If you're a veteran with 70% disability from a service-related injury, you qualify for property tax relief. Beginning this year, if you are the spouse of a veteran who died from a service-related injury or disability, you also qualify for property tax relief. Please contact the VACC on the Cook County website. For everybody else, if you are having any issues at all, you need mental help, you need any kind of help or assistance, please call 988. That's the suicide prevention hotline. And that ends my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Cote. Trustee Conroy, anything by Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, President Garvey, actually, thank you. I would like to recognize, thank, and congratulate Wendy Moore from Daisy Treats and Bakery, as well as Christy Iyer from Linda Stokel Francis Brookfield Library for both stepping up and accepting director roles with the Chamber of Commerce. So it's a big thing to take on, and so appreciate their input. And they both have a lot to add to the discussion, and they play a big role in the events that are happening around town. So thank them both for stepping up and taking on that additional responsibility. Other than that, I know it's early yet to be talking, or it seems early to start talking about the farmers market, but planning is in full swing. Those that don't know, Gina Shernow will be managing the market this year and putting a lot of energy and brings a lot of fresh ideas to the planning process. So really looking forward to that. This year we'll see a lot of changes happening. And anyone who's interested in volunteering, I was able for people to get involved at any point throughout the year. So please reach out to myself, Gina Shernow, or the Chamber if you are interested in helping plan for the farmers market this year. And that concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Conroy. It's never too early to talk about the farmers market. That's a good sign. That means spring and summer are coming, so thank you. And thank you to the new members who stepped up. Trustee Hendricks cannot be with us tonight for planning and zoning. We do have cases up tonight that we will be addressing shortly. Trustee Ketchmark, anything under administration or economic development?
The Economic Development Commission met on the 15th of March. The commissioners will be visiting the various businesses within the TIF district to discuss the PIP program and make the pitch for them to participate in it. There was also quite a bit of discussion on the use table, and staff did a good job of explaining the uses within the various areas, and I think it was kind of enlightening for the commissioners to understand some of these, why some uses are in some areas and not in other areas, and I mean, it'll help their knowledge going forward on this as well. Their next meeting is on the 19th of April, and I'll report back after that.
Thank you, Trustee Ketchmark. And I truly appreciate the members of the commission. When we appointed them, we were asking them to fill a role, and I guess I didn't expect them to be going door to door in the business community to reach out and promote a program, but I think it's very powerful coming from them, so I appreciate the extra effort on their part. Trustee LeClere, Parks and Recreation.
Yes, we met last week. Our summer camps and our summer programs opened and very quickly started to fill up. Luke was very glad. They're very popular. We had a St. Patty's Day luncheon that had about 80 seniors there. And our summer programs, Music on Grand, 4th of July, are in full swing of planning, and we should have some little more details at our next meeting. The Parks and Recreation Foundation is planning a summer and fall fundraiser for their foundation. And then the only other thing is I mentioned the Citizens Police Academy. They did get enough participants, and they started last week, last Thursday, which is nice to hear and a good, obviously good program. So that ends my report.
Thank you, Trustee LeClere. Trustee Kaluzny, Conservation and Beautification.
Yes, the Beautification Commission met a couple of weeks ago. They are in full swing planning for the 30th anniversary of Project Nice, which is coming up on April 22nd. And for those that are interested, there'll be signups ahead of time, but also you can just join at 8:30 a.m. in Kiwanis Park in the picnic pavilion to pick a site. They're also working on some activities and lunch that will be afterwards held at the Compassion Factory between 11:30 and 1 p.m. for everyone that participates. Their next meeting is April 11th at 6 p.m. The Conservation Commission met a week early this month on March 21st so that all the commissioners could be present due to spring break and people being out this week. They went over a lot of things. Two of the commissioners actually attended the chamber lunch on March 16th to get some feedback on the sustainability planning process for those that weren't able to make it to the community workshop. They got some really great feedback that they brought back to the commission. They also were working at their meeting on reviewing some code language around weeds versus managed native landscapes we'll be discussing in Committee of the Whole later. And they're working on synthesizing notes from the community workshop still. They have a bunch of upcoming events. I'm going to list them out loud really quickly, but then I'll keep reminding everybody in the meetings coming forward. They just held a native seed swap, their first one with the library this past Sunday, and Saturday the 25th, between 12 and 3, a lot of people dropping off seeds and also picking them up to plant. They are working on a restoration in the Oak Savannah post the controlled burn that happened there on Earth Day on the 22nd. They are working on 2 native plant classes with the library on the April 24th and on June 3rd. And then they're working with the library also on the Alternative Fuel Car Show for the 2nd annual event on May 27th. And finally, they're planning a native plant sale at the farmers market, which is opening soon, on June 10th. Their next meeting is April 25th at 6:30 p.m., and that ends my report.
Thank you, Trustee Kaluzny. The Solid Waste Agency, or WCMC, have not met since our last meeting, but the West Central Conference and our neighboring, we had a loss in that group. Unfortunately, the mayor of Western Springs, Alice Gallagher, passed away suddenly. I worked with Alice a little bit through the conference and had other meetings with her. It was a very tragic and untimely passing. I did attend the wake on Sunday, as did other members of the WCMC, and just shared the condolences from the village to her family from the board. So just please keep the Gallagher family in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with it. I believe she was buried today. So tragic loss for Western Springs and the community and the West Central. She was very active in that group. So And with the Brookfield Zoo, I've had some meetings with the Brookfield Zoo on some various topics, and they are they're starting another master plan process. I think they've had some exciting news the past couple weeks about some proposed upgrades and renovations to Tropic World, but they are going through with their new director a long-term master plan process, and they're looking to host community forums. So I offered up, the village hall if possibly, or opportunities for them to have a public forum where we could help advertise it. They really want the input from the public about what the zoo should look like in the years going forward. So I had a good conversation. They're going to reach out to staff, and we might host something here, or at least advertise and help promote their meetings, because they really want to hear what our residents think and residents in the area. So that will be something that's coming up. So that ends the reports of special committees. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to pass the omnibus agenda.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Ketchmark, second by trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy?
Aye.
Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We're now going to move on to items under regular business. And the first item, at this point, I'm going to entertain a motion to pass an ordinance to approve and authorize a special use permit to operate a daycare, to approve and authorize a special use permit for joint parking facilities, and to approve and authorize a variance from section 62-290 required parking spaces of the zoning code for 9046 West 31st Street.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to pass this ordinance. Now I'll open it up to any discussion from the board. I just want to note that there's separate motions listed on the agenda after that, but this motion covers all of those. So those three additional motions will not be addressed. This motion deals with all of the variances and special use requests that the applicant had. So any questions or comments from the board related to this?
So this is a single vote for the whole thing, right?
That's correct. It's one ordinance to approve the two special uses and the one variation.
Right, so we've had a lot of discussions about this. We've had a lot of going back and forth and talked to a lot of people about this. And I know there's feelings on both sides in regards to this. The way I stand with this is that, while the use in itself to be a daycare, I don't have a problem with. And I have heard that the traffic flow and the increased traffic flow, and my kids, when they were in a daycare, were in a place that had small parking and small access, and it was never really a problem for us. And it was a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, and it didn't cause a big issue. I do have concern that I don't believe that the variation requested for the parking meets the needs for this site. I don't think that this meets it. Having it down the street, we don't know a couple years down the road if the lodge will still be there. We don't know if that'll change. We don't know any of these other items. So I don't believe that this variation would meet the requirement needed to have it. While I'm not against a daycare per se, I just don't see that this can meet the requirement for parking needed to become a daycare.
And before we go any further, I just wanted to point out, because the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended against this, they did not offer a positive recommendation. It would require 4 positive votes from the Board of Trustees in order to overrule the Planning Commission and pass this. I meant to state it at the very beginning. That's per our ordinances and code. So thank you, Trustee Cote. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
I understand what Trustee Cote has mentioned. I do agree that could happen in the future, that the Elks Lodge might not be a place that they could park in the future, but I think they could come back with a new solution. I do think that this is a need in the community. I think that people are there for 5 minutes or less in the morning to drop off their kids at a range of time. I think this is a unique solution to the problem, and I'm in favor of moving forward with this ordinance.
Other questions, comments from the board? Okay, hearing no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
No.
Trustee Cote?
No.
Trustee Conroy?
No.
Trustee LeClere,
No.
Trustee Kaluzny.
Aye.
Motion passes. Does not pass.
Does not pass.
Does
The
not
ordin-
pass.
The ordinance does not pass at
Does
this
not.
point. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass an ordinance to approve and authorize a map amendment from B to I-1 zoning for PIN number 18-03-423-050, and an ordinance to approve and authorize a special use permit for accessory outdoor storage associated with the business at 8800 47th Street.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. And again, this motion covers all the requests of the applicant. Two motions that are listed underneath it are not necessary because they're covered by this. Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
So a couple questions and clarifications on it. So it is my understanding that this is currently a non-conforming use as it relates to the outdoor storage. We have the issue of the zoning, the residential and zoning that industrial. I'm not so concerned about that. It's operated this way for a long, long time. But upon sale, if we grant a special use on this, upon sale, that special use for outdoor storage goes with the property, so the new business would then have that special use in place, accessory use for outdoor storage, correct?
That is correct.
So we have no idea what that next business could be. I mean, there may be different, restrictions we'd want to put on it. I mean, we don't know that it would be a like business operating in the same manner, which I don't have an issue with at this point. But again, granting the special use now for this will transfer to the new business. And it's my understanding the property is for sale or is coming up for sale. I'm interested to hear what the rest of the board thinks. I think, in talking with President Garvey and the attorney, there is something where we could grant a condition so the special use is granted, which brings the current business into compliance. But upon sale, that special use would disappear and whatever the new business would be can apply for it. Now, granted, if it's the same like business and we're approving this special use, I mean, we never have, we don't know what the future board would do, but if we've approved it now, there's a likely chance that it would get approved in the future if it's a like business. If it's not a like business, I don't know, but we have no idea what that business could be. It could be cars, it could be pipes, it could be mulch piles, it could be whatever.
Okay.
Those are my concerns on that. I think Trustee Hendricks had some concerns that she passed along to Trustee Cote in terms of some of the fencing requirements.
She did. She passed it on to myself and trustee Kaluzny. I will read what she had. She wanted to note that on the 47th Street property, the condition for approval only lists opaque screening fence along the north and east property lines. However, on the northwest property line, there is nothing that would block the residential area from seeing what's in there. So her request would be to amend, if we were to approve this, to amend this to require screening on that property line as well, so all three property lines.
And I believe trustee Hendricks brought this up at the committee of the whole discussion when she was present and raised these concerns, so. Thank you, trustee Cote. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
but,
that's fine, that's what she wanted.
All right, trying to find a consensus here. Maybe as to the first point that trustee Ketchmark raised, does board members share similar concerns and want to consider a condition limiting the special use to this particular business, and that if the business is sold, a new business would have to reapply? Is that a concern that the rest of the board shares?
I think that's a good solution. I was concerned if we did not grant the special use, what happens to the current storage use?
And it could be, because it has been in place, it's been a non-conforming use in place, and there hasn't been issues really, basically. We're trying to get them conforming, but I think trustee Ketchmark's raised the point that we don't know what comes in next, and if the property is up for sale, this gives us some degree of control. This applicant has possibly made the case for a special use, and as trustee Ketchmark indicated, if another business with a similar use comes in, it would be pretty clear that the board has been consistent in the past that if it's a similar use, that they would also grant a special use if, all factors being the same. But I think trustee Ketchmark raises the point of protecting the board and the village if something different comes in.
I agree with trustee Ketchmark. I think the special use should stay with the current business or like.
And so it would expire, what would be the language? Would expire, the special use permit would expire upon sale of the property, or?
Yes, it sounds like there's going to be a motion to amend to provide a condition for the special use to expire upon the transfer of ownership of the property. That's one motion, and I've heard a potential second motion for a condition that fence screening to be installed on the west or northwest property line of the property in order to mitigate the impact of the special use.
Okay, on that point, trustee Cote brought up trustee Hendricks' concerns that she previously raised at the committee of the whole meeting. How does the board feel about the additional conditions that trustee Hendricks wants to?
I am in favor of trustee Hendricks' condition.
I'm too. I looked at the property line, and that seems to make sense as an additional boundary as we're changing making a map amendment as well to separate from residential.
So can we make these as one motion
Yes.
for the two?
So we need a motion to amend to provide a condition for fence screening to be installed on the west property line of the property in order to mitigate the impact of the special use, and to provide a condition that the special use shall expire upon the transfer of ownership of the property. Motion the amendment, a second for the motion to amend, and then a motion, a second to approve the amended ordinance.
Trustee Ketchmark, you want to make a motion to amend?
I would make, so do you want me to read that, or,
No, the record reflects what the motion is.
Okay, I would make that motion to amend.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, just so the board is clear, this is a motion to amend the original proposed ordinance to include two conditions, basically that it would expire. The special use would expire upon sale of the property, and to require the additional screening as requested.
Is understood.
Okay,
And then subsequently, there's the vote on,
correct. So this first motion is just to amend the original ordinance, and then we would need to vote on, if it passes, then I would ask for a vote to pass the original ordinance as amended. Okay, is everyone clear on what we're voting on? Most importantly is the clerk.
I'm good.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Okay, can we have a roll call vote on the motion to amend with the two additional conditions?
First, you have to give me a second.
Trustee LeClere made the second.
Okay. Trustee Ketchmark.
aye.
Trustee Cote.
Aye.
Trustee Conroy.
Aye.
Trustee LeClere.
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny.
Aye.
Okay, now I'd entertain a motion to pass the ordinance as amended.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. Any questions or comments on this motion? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark.
Aye.
Trustee Cote.
Aye.
Trustee Conroy.
Aye.
Trustee LeClere.
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the execution of a master software licensing agreement by and between Dacra Tech LLC and the Village of Brookfield.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee LeClere. Any questions or comments on this?
I have a question, actually. I think it's for Chief, actually. In the software contract, there's a section for monthly service fee, monthly licensing, and monthly usage fee. And it says that the monthly usage fee calculated by total fees for citations issued that month. Adjudication citations issued that month, the first 500 are at no cost. Anything past 500 are $3 apiece. State citations issued that month, 500 included, no cost, $1 for every one post that. So that leads me to ask then, is that a large enough block that covers what we normally process in a month? Please.
Thank you, Trustee Cote. Yes, that would cover what we issue. Actually, speaking with Stevie as well as experientially from the department side, that would be an accurate threshold for us.
Then my next question, part of my ignorance on this, but what is the difference between adjudication citations and state citation? I don't know the difference.
State citations refer to typically what we issue on a Y ticket. It's a state ticket that goes directly to Maybrook Courthouse. Largely, it applies to moving violations. It could actually also apply to equipment, registration, parking, but there is some discretion there where the officers will then make a determination if adjudication refers to our local tickets. So parking citations, some equipment citations, registration, as well as our local ordinance violations, those all can go on the local tickets that would then, especially whether they're assigned a court date or appealed, would go to adjudication hearings, local court here in Brookfield.
Okay, thank you. And the 500 covers everything. We shouldn't have a problem with that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? This was something that, again, was discussed during the budget process. As you're going to see, there's things coming forward that we authorized during the budget process, but actually taking the steps to implement them. So if there's no further questions or comments, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy?
Aye.
Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The last item we have under new business, I'd entertain a motion to pass an ordinance authorizing the execution of a legal services agreement by and between Donahue and Rose PC and the Village of Brookfield, Illinois for administrative hearing officer services for PSEBA benefits.
So moved. Second.
The motion was made by trustee Ketchmark, second by trustee Cote. Back in November of 2021, as required by state statute, we set up an administrative procedure under the PSEBA Act requiring that we create a process, and a hearing process, an appeal process, and part of the process is going to require that we have a basically administrative hearing officer. So this staff is recommending this agreement with Donahue and Rose to fulfill the administrative hearing officer services for that ordinance. Are there any further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy? Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That ends the items we have under new business. Anything manager's report, Tim? No report. Okay. That ends the items we have on the village board agenda. So at 7:01 PM, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by trustee Cote, second by trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Conroy?
Aye.
Trustee LeClere?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The board meeting's adjourned at 7:01. We'll go into the committee of the whole meeting in just a few minutes. Do we need